Everybody, it's your girl Nisha, aka Nisha the Voice, coming in for another edition of Industry Conversations One on One. With me today, I have the beautiful Jen Garcia. How are you?
I'm really good. Thank you for having me on. I'm excited to answer all these juicy questions.
Yes, definitely. I am very excited to have you on the show with me tonight because you are your writer, actor, producer, YouTube star. So, there's a lot of accolades that I could say about you right now. And you are really holding it down right now for all the Latinas.
Well,
You
you're
know?
very, very gracious. I always feel like I'm just starting out, and it usually takes a friend or family member to remind me of how much I have accomplished because
Yes.
I'm always in work mode, so I'm not really looking at what's being done. I'm always worried about what's the next thing that has to be done. So
Yes,
thank
yes, yes. Yes, Miss Worker B, because I mean, you have, commercials, a lot of independent films that you have worked on that, it would take me, a few to name all of them. But congratulations on all your success thus far. I
you.
am excited to, get into the conversation with you tonight, representing the Bronx, South Bronx to be exact.
X forever. Yeah. I'm from the Bronx, born and raised.
Yes. And speaking of, commercials, which you've had a commercial with Pepsi. And I want to talk about first, my favorite show, crime show of all time is Law and Order. And I know that you had an appearance working on Law and Order, and I want to hear like what was that experience like?
Okay, well, I did background work just for the record on Law and Order. So it wasn't as exciting as maybe having a speaking role. I can just speak on if you're an actor or actress out of New York City, you've done Law and Order. Like
Oh wow.
it's on everybody's resume. If you're from New York, it's like you've done Law and Order, right?
Right.
So, it was an interesting experience. Of course, the bigger the budget, the more intricate, the set is, the bigger the actors are. So it was a learning experience for me, but I did do background work. The camera was on me a lot. And then all we can hope for as background actors is that, once it goes into the editing room, that you're going to make it to the actual, show. So it was about maybe a half a second that they
Yeah.
showed me. So my family was all like, they were all waiting to see like, oh, you're on Law and Order. But sometimes, unfortunately, as actors, we just don't know what's going to make it to the final.
Right.
But it was still a wonderful experience, and I'm grateful for all, the opportunities that I've been given, big or small, and depending how you look at that, because some people say
Hmm.
there's no such thing as small roles, or, but
Yeah.
it's always, I'm always, whenever I'm on set, I tell actors too, like, whether it's a big budget or small budget, there's always something you can learn. Like, never think that you're going to be on an independent set and you're wasting your time. You have to always
Mm.
look for, what can I learn here? You know what I mean? Whether it's something
Right.
that you're going to tell yourself, I'm never going to do that, that's still a learned experience. Right.
Right. And in the industry, and you make a valid point because in the industry, especially those that even, from music, even to becoming actors or actresses, you have a lot of individuals who feel like, if they have a small role, and just like you said, like background work, that they're wasting their time. And to me, I see it from that angle. Anything that you can get to where you're actually, networking and actually being in front of people who can move you to the next level, that's not wasting your time. You have a lot of big stars right now who starred in commercials who may only had one speaking part, but are now, big name actors and actresses. So I feel that you're absolutely right. And I do want to get in the conversation a little bit about, especially for those that are watching right now, like how do you get into that? Like how do you start with that? Do you have an agent that help you to organize or get these auditions or get the background work, or you received what they call leads of where the next audition is? So just for those that are watching tonight, how did you get into that?
Okay, first I want to start because I get that question a lot. So first I want to say everyone's journey is different. And I think
Mm,
we make the mistake of is like, okay, how did you do it? I want to do it that way. And
right.
everyone's journey and experience and background is so different. Of course, there's the template of get your headshots, get in independent films as many as you can. So it's kind of like on the job learning. Then after
Mm,
that, see networking. I can't stress enough. It is who you know. Let's not pretend that it isn't. It is who you know. So it's important to be personable. You know what I mean? When you're on set, ask a lot of questions. Be helpful. Make yourself of some use when you're on set. Don't just go there, read your lines, and then go home. The better you are at networking, the better you'll do in this business. So of course I would say, well, yeah, getting into the film industry 101 is get some headshots, you know what I mean? Do indie films, but everyone's journey is different, right? So with
mhm,
me, I started out I started out locally with independent films. I have a lot of friends that are in the business. So someone was always doing something. So I
mhm,
was always trying to be on someone's set somewhere. So I have kind of like an orthodox journey into the film industry where I didn't do the straight up get headshots, do the indie films and then get an agent. So I'm like, I'm not, I can't tell someone how to do that. And quite honestly, this is my first year shopping for an agent because work has been good. So now I'm like, okay,
mm.
I can no longer do this on my own. So it's like different, you know what I mean? Different
At
levels.
different levels, yeah, yeah, and that's and on the flip side, being an artist as well, it's the same because it's like a coin toss. Like it's like when do you start having an agent?
Right,
Because they always tell you, in the industry that some of these things it's like more like grassroots where you can do a lot on your own, where you can, pretty much you really don't need an agent, you don't need a manager in order to gain roles or even to get work. So it's one of those things that where you kind of try to understand when should you indeed get an agent or get a manager. So just like you said, work has been fruitful, and now it's time for you to get an agent and start moving a little bit faster than what it has as of right now. And like I said, it's so refreshing to hear someone say that just my journey is different from everyone else, because you have a lot of people that will lay the blueprint and saying, like you said, go get headshots, go do this and go do that. And a lot of people ways into the industry may not be that way. And just as you said, it wasn't my journey, but everybody's journey is different. It's totally different. And I'm so glad that you said that, because a lot of people think that just because you did it this way that it would work for me. And you're
right.
exactly right that it may not work for you the way that it happened for me.
Right. And
A lot.
I think now it's even, I gotta say, it's before, Hollywood, the industry was like, they had quote unquote gatekeepers and it was hard
Mm,
to get in. Now, if you have a YouTube channel, if you have
yeah.
an Instagram page, you can make yourself your own star and
Yes.
build it and they will come to you. So the industry has changed to where it's like it's easier now. It's not as hard as when I first started. And I'm like, I feel like I'm a little gal in the Bronx. Hollywood was a mirage to me. It was so
Right.
far away. And as far as an agent, everything on different levels. An agent and a manager wouldn't have made sense for me to get when I first started out. If there's nothing to
Mm,
manage, why are you paying a manager or an attorney or or an agent? So it's like different levels. But the great thing is that produce something. I always tell people produce something with what you have, literally. But I think the mistake a lot of up and coming artists make is that they see someone who's already established and they think they
yes.
can do it overnight. It's still work, even if you're doing it via Instagram or YouTube. It's still work. You still have to dedicate yourself, but you have to always stay in motion. Every day, do a little something else. Every day, you're like, what did I do today to get closer to this dream that I have? These goals
Right.
I have. So I always say, stay in forward motion. And yeah, sometimes
Mm,
it's disheartening and disappointing. You're like, geez, I've been at this for a year. Nothing's gonna break. But you have to keep going because it's just the universe, energy in general. You chop at a tree for a certain amount, even if you're using a butter knife. It's
right.
eventually. Now, I would suggest you use an axe, but my point is it's gonna fall eventually. So yeah, sometimes it's disappointing. I've had my weeks where I'm just eating top ramen and cold. But, if you really, really want it, then you can get it. And I tell people, it's easier to do it today than it was, and you have to take advantage of that. People are filming films now with telephones, with
Oh
like
yes.
cell phones. I have a couple
Yes.
of friends who've done films with their iPhone. So there really is no excuse, none.
Mm. And that's you just dropped some jewels there. That's motivation because like you said, if you really, really want it, you would really go after it. And do as much as you can in order to achieve that goal. And I can agree with you definitely because you have so many individuals that are utilizing iPhones, utilizing I would say digital cameras, not the high tech ones, but you can really do movies with pretty much anything now. It's not as hard as it used to be because you have so many people. Like I watch TikTok almost every day, so TikTok is almost like Facebook or Instagram.
Right.
And you have a lot of people, such as you said, that are utilizing these social media platforms to gain an audience for themselves and actually entering into Hollywood just by doing the skits off TikTok, just
Yep.
by doing skits off Instagram, and are making a name for themselves. Like it's really to the point now where the middleman is no longer needed. Where people are really making a name for themselves very quickly off of using social media platforms. And I think it's commendable because now it's more so where the artist now is taking control of their direction. I think it's refreshing again, and it's also great to see artists like take so much control in also take pride into where they're going because you have on TikTok, there's a lot of comedy. You have more comedy than realistic things. So it's great to see people from all walks of life to really tap into something that is just unheard of right now at this point. To be able to break in or tap into Hollywood just by having a million followers or by going viral off of just one video.
Absolutely.
One video, and you
A
have
lot
so
of
many people.
brands, a lot of big name brands now are, looking to see who's most popular on
Yes.
social media. So the tables have completely turned. You just have to take advantage of it and make sure you know how to flip your money because you can get,
Mm-hmm.
it's big bank now, to be
Yes.
popular on social media. So you should just be mindful of how you flip your money and not get too excited that you're getting money and you're not
Mm-hmm.
investing back into your business, the business of you. You know what I mean? So
Right.
you have to invest back into what you want to do. But yeah, I recommend it. Like everyone's journey is different. I would never tell anyone, oh, you're just doing YouTube, you're just doing TikTok, you're never going to make it. I mean, these kids are blowing past
Oh, they are.
people,
They are.
people that are trying to make it for 20, 30 years. So I'm like,
Yeah.
whatever tool you have, if it's just your phone,
Yeah.
use your phone. Use your
Right.
phone.
Exactly. Exactly. And I do want to get into the conversation the difference between the two of basically independent films and then also working on Hollywood projects because just as you said you've done commercials, you've also done background work, and so I know there's a difference between the two. There's a process between the two. So I want to talk about that. What would be your perspective of that, like the difference between the two of them?
A better craft services. I've had a lot of cold pizza. I would just say, you as expected on bigger budget projects, there's a lot more professionalism that goes on. Unfortunately, a lot of people that work on independent projects, they're not as professional as you expect them to be. So I tell young people, but young women in particular,
Mm.
because I think women, we have the habit, especially when we're young, and I'm far from my 20s, but when we're young, we kind of feel mousy in male dominated environments, right? So I always tell women, stand up for what you want, make sure you're
Mhm.
getting your respect, make sure you walk in there as a professional. You don't have to show your teeth to everybody, like our grandma said,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
If you're there to do a job, do your job, do it efficiently, and let people know that you're there for business.
Mm.
Whether you're working with a 50 Cent or someone who's unknown, always professionalism, professionalism, professionalism. So, sometimes in independent projects, you're not going to have that professionalism, but never sacrifice yourself for it. I've walked off of set. I've walked
Mm.
off indie films and I've walked off of big budget projects as well, where the women I was working with on the big budget project, a lot of them stayed because they wanted to meet the celebrity. I
Mm,
don't care. I don't
mm,
care who you are. I am to be respected. I'm here to do a job. This is not a favor. Okay. I need
yes,
to respect me just as much as that male actor and that
that's
male
right.
MC. So I tell young women that all the time. I'm like, you're going to regret it if you don't stand
Hmm.
up for yourself. And then you're going to get to an age where you're standing up for yourself. So you might as well do it now.
I
You might
agree.
as well start now. So
I agree.
that's the huge difference. Of course, a bigger budget, better money, um,
Hmm.
and just be prepared. Again, when you're on an independent set, be prepared to put more work in, and that's okay because there's a lot more to learn. And listen, independent artists, you never know where anybody's going to be 10 years from now.
Yes,
You know,
exactly.
be nice, go on there, professional. You don't have to key. You know what I mean? Let people know that you're willing to put in the work that you were hired to do. I want to make a quick note of a lot of people think that certain projects are beneath them, but they'll go and sign up for the project for the money or for the
Hmm.
exposure. I always say, that's a huge mistake because you don't give your all to something that you're just there for a while. I'm just here to get paid. I'd rather say, do not come work for me. Do not go work for anyone else if you're going to be here half-assed. You knew what the pay was at the door. So I'd rather have an actor on set that's willing to do the job and happy to be there. Because sometimes people take jobs and it's like, I'm only getting paid $100. I'm not doing. I'd rather you not be on my set.
Mm.
That's the case. Do not play with anyone's time or money because I've shot pilots and all I had to pay the actors was $100. All I had to pay the sound guy was $100. So they could have taken it, and I fully respect when someone says I'm worth 300. I can't pay 300. But if you feel like you're worth 300, don't come to my set when I told you all I have is 100. And I think that's a mistake a lot of actors make, was like they show up half-assed because it's like they only pay me 100. I'm gonna chill. No, do not
Mm.
come to my set with that BS because you can tell. People can tell when you're putting in half the work. And
Right.
I say respect everyone, whether they pay you $1 or $1,000. Like respect the craft.
Right, right. I totally respect that and totally agree with that. And you made a point a couple of shows back when we had our ladies first back in March, and we talked about the same topic that females, especially in the industry, whether it's music or whether it is in film, you have to be respected. Doesn't matter what the project may be, because we know the history. There's no need to go into dialogue about it, but we know the history that women are downplayed a lot when it comes to projects, when it comes to film, the type of films,
Mhm.
and you're expected to do certain things. And I respect that, that the fact that when you know that they have crossed the line for you as a person, like you said, if it's not to my standards, I'm leaving. I'm walking off that
Right,
set because therefore I have morals, I have standards, and this is crossing the line and this is not who I am. And you
right,
have actresses, like you say, will stay in that situation instead of, saying, this is not me, I can't do this, this is not, I don't want to go through with that, and respectfully exit. But
right.
you've got those that will stay, go through the humiliation, and then 10 years down the line, you will see them in interviews. Oh my God, I really wish I would not have done that scene. I have children that are coming up. Now they're seeing me, in this movie, being disrespected in this type of way. And you hear it all the time. You hear all the horror stories from actresses about playing certain roles that they know that was degrading. And we're going to get into the conversation about the Oscars in a minute. Basically, of being degraded and, performing roles or doing roles that they know from the jump was
Mhm.
not the person who they are. So it's important, like you said, to know what you're getting into before you actually come to set. You know what you sign up for. You know what it's about. And if it's something that you feel that it's not going to represent the true person who you are, then respectfully just walk away. And I have to definitely respect that, because most people that really want, like really 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 want it, they, a lot of them don't do that. They stay there and just pretty much play along and then regret it later on. So definitely can agree with that statement. Before we get into talk about the Oscars, you did mention 50 Cent, and I do know that you did work alongside 50 Cent. How was that? Because 50 is known to be very vocal. Very vocal.
Very.
Um yeah, I mean he's turned out to be a very successful businessman. We know 50's history. Right now he's on a roll with the Power series. Everybody is waiting, for the Power series to return. But he's done an excellent job in the film arena and actually being able to show his producing skills, and basically showing his skills as an actor, because he's one heck of an actor as he is, an artist. And I just want to know what that experience was like working alongside 50 Cent.
Okay, well, I'm glad you brought that up because it's a great example of what I said about networking.
Mm,
I met 50 Cent through a gentleman who's a stuntman, a Hollywood stuntman. Like he's done stunts for Jamie Foxx and
mm,
Tyler Perry. So he did a little old small independent film called Jump Offs. I was one of the actresses that was hired in that film. We stayed in contact. Again, be professional, be on
right.
time, the dialogue. Years later, he called me up. His name is Derek Simmons, amazing, amazing human being. And he was like, "Hey Jen, and it was one of my down weeks where I was like, so Derek called me up and was like, "Hey Jen, do you want to work for 50?" So I'm like, I'm like $50, like Derek, like I really didn't know what he was talking about. He was like, "No, 50 cent, 50 cent." And I was like, "What?" I was like,
Yeah.
"What?" I was like, "Doing what?" So he was like, because he's in the stunt world, he was like, "We need a girl that to take a fall. He needs to throw somebody off some stairs." But it's very technical. Like they had gym mats and they patted me up. So I was like, "Hell yeah!" I was like, "I want to work with 50." And so we went to he used this when 50 Cent was doing web videos,
Yeah.
web videos. And we went to his office. He shot like in the stairwell, and I didn't know what to expect. I was like, "Oh my God." I was a little intimidated because we see the 50 online. So we don't
Right.
know if we're gonna run in to set and there's gonna be some big a-hole, what I mean,
Right.
telling women what to do. And when I
Uh-huh.
tell you, it was the exact opposite. 50 is very professional and tunnel vision on set. And I
Wow.
always say that that's my experience. I don't know
Right.
if someone else is going to say, "Oh, he was rude to me. He was this, that." But I always say, show up on set and have the poker face, be friendly, but have the poker face and let people know I am here to work. I don't care
Right.
who you are. I am here to work. But most women would lose it around 50. Now, don't get me wrong. The day I went to work, I went in the bathroom to change into the costume for the ads. I was in there like, it's and then I got dressed and fixed my face, and I went out and I was like, "Hey, 50, where would you like? Are we gonna block this? This next scene?" And this was my face, but inside I was like, "Ah, it's
I know, right? I know. I know.
But you have to keep your composure. You have to remember these men, they're sharks.
Yes.
Okay, these are moguls. These are business moguls, and they're
Mhm.
very good at peeping attitude and intention. So never think you're gonna go there and be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go with my boobs and try to be his baby mama." It's a waste of time, a big mistake. And I'm not knocking women that do that. I'm just talking to actors now, people that want to be in the business. Seriously, I'm not. If you just want to be someone's baby mama, that's fine. You know what I mean? It's a no knock from me, but you
What?
specifically talking to actors. So working with him was he was very, very professional.
Yeah.
Not the 50 that the Instagram 50.
Right. Right.
He's not the Instagram 50. After we shot the scene, he was so caring, you know what I mean, of what I
Yeah.
had to do. So the scene was like he was supposed to slap me and then I was supposed to go tumbling down the stairs. I couldn't get it. I was like, I don't do stunts professionally.
Right.
And Derek was just like, "You can do it. I'll show you on set." So I was like, okay, so that didn't work. So he was like, so Derek has suggested, why don't you just throw her? She's light. So I was like, excuse me, because somebody asked me if I want to be thrown. He's like, it'll be fine, fine. So he basically taught me, you tuck your chin, you stay, you know what I mean? Like, curl up. And they patted me well. And they had the gym mats, and 50 Cent picked me up and threw me down the stairs. And then I landed on the mats. And then, of course, we cut, and then they removed the mats, and it appeared like 50 threw me on the ground. But it was an amazing experience. You know, after the scene, 50 took us all back to his office, and he spoke to us about an hour long about the business, about his experience in the business. So I felt like I was at a TED Talk. So that's what I mean by, although it wasn't a big production, although it was just a web series, there's so much you can learn sometimes if you just stop showing your teeth for a little while.
Right, exactly.
Listen to people. And then from that, Derek Simmons called me back again to do some more stunt work in a 50 Cent music video. Second time around, 50 was just as professional, to the point where I was wearing a white shirt for the scene, and the scene called for him shooting me in the blood packets opening up. And 50 was like, I don't want to dirty her shirt. And they were like, you serious? And he was like, yeah, I don't want to dirty her shirt. Now, when he's on set, he's a man of very little words. And I would ask him, are you good with this scene? Is there something else that you need me to do? He was like, you're great. You're good. You know what I mean? Let's move on to the next thing. So I was like, okay, you're good. I'm good. So, you know, I thought he was amazing to work with. I don't know the Instagram 50.
Right.
I know that the business mind 50, and that, you know, I'm grateful for that experience as well. Hopefully we can go back and I can get on Power.
I know, right? Speak it, girl, into the universe. We're speaking it. We're definitely speaking it. And I mean, that's great. You know, a great example about networking and how it circles itself back around. And we are speaking that you will be on Power. We're going to speak this into existence. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. So I do see in the back that about your YouTube, on the block with Jen. So before we get into my last question, I do want to congratulate you on your YouTube show. You have some very, 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 very unique episodes. Yes, girl. We gotta schedule a date, okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And I love it because it shows that we as women can talk, get down and dirty, but, you know, can compete with the best of them. And I definitely want to congratulate you on that. And how did the concept, did you just say, you know, hey, I'm just going to do a YouTube show, and, you know, just air my thoughts at this point?
I tell you, I was pushed, like, because of my social media pages. People were constantly telling me, you need a show, you need a show, you need a talk show, you need to be on TV. And I thought, okay, we're in the age where we can be our own TV.
Right.
You know what? After a couple years of people saying you need to be somewhere where you can speak your mind, I said, I'll start a YouTube channel, and it'll be On the Block with Jen, because I'm from the block, the real block, not the J.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Right. So I just did the 456, you know, train station that we were always on. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it to you, but you guys better be able to handle it, because you know, if you watched any of my shows, I'm just real raw. You know what I mean?
Very.
And with that said, I'm very open to, you don't have to agree with me, but you're not gonna shut me up.
Right.
And I think people get those two confused, especially in the environment we live in now with all the cancel culture. People think that you can't have an opinion. And my thing is, everyone can have an opinion, even the opinions I don't agree with. And I'm allowed to not agree with you. I'm even allowed to say, I don't like what you said. I'm even allowed to say, that's not true, but I'm not allowed to silence you. I'm not allowed to silence you. And I think that's the problem today, where it's like, now people, when they don't like you, they think they can silence you.
Exactly.
And something I get thrown back at me a lot, because I talk a lot about race relations and relationships.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, well, what if someone said that about you, right? And I'm like, you can say whatever you'd like to say about me, true or false, and I
Mm-hmm.
decide what affects me. I always say being offended is a choice. It has
Right.
not become an obligation to the
Uh-huh.
population, but being offended is a choice. I said, you can say
Yes.
whatever you want about Puerto Rican women. You can say whatever you want about my complexion, my hair, my lips, my eyes. And it's up to me whether I value you enough to be offended.
Right. Right. Exactly.
It,
Exactly. Exactly. And on that same note, I do want to talk about the Oscars. I did see a snippet of your commentation on Real Talk. Very interesting conversation. And we as minorities, I want everybody to understand that we are minority. Okay. Um, we're snubbed at the Oscars. This has been the talk now for quite some time
Mhm.
because they use the tactics of Chadwick Boseman, also Viola Davis to get people to watch because they had us thinking that Chadwick was going to receive this award. He was snubbed. Several movies with minorities as the lead were snubbed by the Oscars. And there's so much going back to what we talked about earlier um, about how the degrading of women in Hollywood. This has been going on for some time now. And we see all the movies where you have Halle Berry, you have movies where females, minority women, females that are played either it's a degrading role where then they win the Oscar. Not for an Oscar where a woman, a minority wins for actually basically being a triumphant character. There's so many movies that I can name that where you had strong minority women who played lead roles who may have got a nomination, but they did not win. And I've heard this topic and I've heard people speak about it for quite some time. And there's a point to be made, and I think the more and more that we stand on this, the more and more that we make it an issue. We have to make sure that they understand that we need to be heard because it is an issue. It is an issue. It's been an issue for quite some time now, and so many minority actresses are not being rewarded or not giving their just due. And they always say, give a person their flowers while they're on this earth, not when they're gone. Because we always hear this. We always hear when actors or actresses, even singers, when they have passed on, now you want to give this big tribute to them. Now you want to say they were the greatest that ever lived. And I remember the movie Dorothy Dandridge so frequently because I used to watch it all the time.
Mhm.
And this woman was wonderful, and we didn't celebrate her the way that we should have celebrated her. We talk about the bad things about her life, not the great things that was in her life. And it puzzled me for so long because I was like, why do we always do this? Why does Hollywood always do this? When we talk about Billie Holiday, we only want to talk about the bad things. We all know the bad things about her, but we don't talk about the things that she stood for. The things that the role that she played. We're just now hearing about the role that she played in regards to racial issues.
Mhm.
And it's to me it's really bad, that Hollywood is this way, you know. But I do want to hear your thoughts on, on the Oscars and, the minority, the racial issues that we continue to see, in Hollywood.
Well, okay. If you heard me, my opinion on Real Talk,
Mhm.
I'm a very militant go-getter type of person. So I'm
Mhm.
not leaving my destiny, my accolades, my flowers to any gatekeepers or quote unquote Hollywood. Right
Mhm.
now, there's no way of escaping Hollywood because that's the business that's in place. We don't have
Right.
Black Hollywood right now. We don't have a Puerto Rican Hollywood right now. It is what it is, right?
It
Until we
is.
establish,
Yes.
and I think Tyler Perry is doing that. You know what I mean? He's
Yes.
showing the way, and if people
Mhm.
follow him, it'll get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Exactly.
As
Exactly.
far as being snubbed, something that wasn't ever made with you in mind is going to snub you.
Mm.
I think that we have the power now. Now there's zero. Back in the day, we had excuses.
Yes.
The gatekeepers, the powers that be, you can't do this, you can't do that. But now, like I said, we're making films with our cell phones. I think we have to get away from, if they don't say we're good, we're not good. If they don't say we can go in there, we can't go in there. Those excuses are out the window. They're gone, right? We're literally free now to make our own films. Also, as far as, you know, women and degrading roles, I think it hurts us because, let's face it, we've been through hell and back. We continue going through hell and back just because of our melanin, no other reason, or our last names, or the texture of our hair. Right. So this is a lifetime thing that we have to deal with. But I can say white actresses have won Oscars for playing some really, really horrible, downtrodden characters. Like Charlize Theron won an Oscar for playing a drug addict, prostitute, killer. Like, I don't know what's worse than that, but it's just, since we go through so much in society, when we look at us awarded for playing some prostitute, it kind of hurts.
It does.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, wait, we're better than that. And the way you can take the charge out of that is take control of your own destiny and don't put so much emphasis on who they're awarding and who they're not awarding, because that's what they're banking on. If there is a powers that be that's controlling us mentally and through media, then it's working. If it affects, if I feel bad about something that you're not, then you're affecting me. And something I stress on my show, On the Block with Jen, is stop being so affected by someone that has really no power in your life, unless you give it to them. Because systemic oppression, it's real. Yes. Racism, it's real. It is. But there are plenty of ways to move around and go around that. Right. And I think that's what we forget. We're not in shackles anymore. Thank the universe. Right. Yes. But there's still a lot of mental shackles. And they'll keep throwing it out there long as we keep reacting. I think the Oscars, the Oscars went, I thought I was watching the BET Awards. I was like, anybody, am I the only one watching? I mean, I think there was Kente Cloth on stage. I was like, they had what's her name doing the butt? I forgot her name. Remember. They had it was a blatant, it was the first time I saw white folks shucking and jiving for us. Yes. Shucking and jiving. They were. But it goes to show the power that we have when we say, I'm not going to take this anymore. I'm not going to watch this anymore because I don't see me up there. I'm not going to watch this anymore. And you see how quickly the Oscars turned around, right? Oscars. It became the Oscars Award. So that right there shows the power that we have. That we tear each other down too much, right? Tyler Perry, whether you like his films or not, as a man that literally went from being homeless to $1 billion, and he has the same skin color as you. So therefore you must support, just support. I'd rather, and you don't have to like Tyler Perry. Then I would just suggest, just let the man be. Exactly. Because we have to be part of the change we want to see. I can't stress it enough. He's in there. He's doing his thing. He's respecting other Black people. He's giving Black people jobs. He's giving flowers. You know what I mean? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And no one else was going to do it. So I'm like, when we see people making moves like that, we need to pause for a bit and let them do what they have to do and not be so envious or jealous or panic. Like, it's not me. Listen, I'm an advocate for, no matter what you want to do, if you continue to work on it diligently, right, your time will come. It will. I think because we have the background that we have, we panic when we see the next person that looks like us making it. So we try to throw dirt on their name. It is not necessary. What is for you is for you. I promise you, work towards it. Keep your energy clear. What's for you is for you. I promise. I tell people, and not so much emphasis. We've been doing this for decades and decades, and hoping and wishing and praying that someone, gives us our just due and our worth. I always say we're worthy way before the Oscars were invented. Yes. People of color were inventors and artists and actors and writers, and we're amazing people. Yes, we are. I mean, phenomenally amazing people naturally,
Mhm.
innately,
Mhm.
without ever going into a class. So you're talking about a people that, how dare we care about some accolades, an 8 pound statue that white board members put together, right? It's
I
like
agree.
we have to believe that we're who we say we are, right? Because in
Mhm.
conversations, we're like, I'm a powerful Latina, I'm a powerful Black woman. Can't nobody, we have to believe it, not just say it.
Yes.
We have to believe it. And the way you show you believe it is award me or not, I'm still getting in.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
Exactly.
still getting
Love
in.
it.
I'm
Love it.
I'm still on a little high from the success of White People Money, the latest movie I was in. I'm still on a little high, but
Yeah.
I want to push, you know what I mean, for us and for our people. And a lot of people think that my YouTube channel is controversial because I love hard. I'm like, I
Mhm.
love hard. I'm like, enough with the defeatist. Oh, look what they're doing to us. Like, enough is enough. Take off them chains and let's go do this. Let's all rock. Let's all do this.
Right, right, exactly, exactly. And again, congratulations on the film White People Money.
Thank
We were talking about your independent films and your roster. I mean, there's so many to name, but congrats definitely on, making your way definitely into Hollywood, and I love your rawness. Like I said, I love the interview. I caught a snippet of it, but I love the fact that you were really raw, realistic. We need individuals that are that are realistic, that to advocate for
you.
us more. Um, we don't see enough of it. We need more. I think it's starting to peak out a little bit now.
Yeah.
You have so much that's on social media and people are talking out, speaking out more. And like you said, you have to believe that you are that powerful individual. You have to believe it. And just act on it. Be who you are and see it through. I think that is so great for, someone to actually advocate for that, and to stand on your truth as well, and continue to speak the truth of whatsoever through your platform that you currently have. So before I let you go, let everyone know where they can reach you on your social media, where they can also see the film White People Money as well.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so first, On the Block with Jen is on YouTube, but wear your thinking caps and your seatbelts because it gets rough. It gets rough on the block, but I welcome everybody. On social media, follow Jen Garcia. It's very easy. Follow Jen Garcia on Instagram and also On the Block with Jen on Instagram. From there, you'll find my Facebook pages. I'm always somewhere. You'll find me. Also, White People Money is playing right now on all video on demand channels, all of them. So just type it in to your search bar on your TV. White People Money will come up. It's starring Drew Sidora from Real Housewives of Atlanta and
Yes.
Patrick from The Shy, who are amazing to work with. And also, it's playing in 37 theaters in select cities.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, so you probably
Yes.
have to go to my page to look at the cities because I don't know them off top, of course.
Yep.
And we got extended an extra week. The movie's doing so well, so I'm really excited about that. I'm excited for the cast and the crew, and for Mark Harris, the director, who again discovered me online. So do your work,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, do your work, because he saw me online and he was like, "You were hilarious. I need to work with you." And I was like, "How much?"
Yeah, I know, right? I know. I love it because it takes us back to, like I said, grassroots, indeed. And for me, I think it's a great way that to encourage individuals, a motivation, to keep moving forward. Because if
Oh,
you had not have moved forward, then this would not be happening. Like you said, what is for you is for you. So, and you keeping it moving, and you're very. This is a motivation for those that really do want to break into the industry. Your story is one to be told. For individuals that really, have to understand that it is a struggle. It's a journey. You have to stay the course if this is something that you really, 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 really want.
And I
So,
always say there's always never be afraid of, I think women do this a lot, but I'm sure men do too. We're always afraid of we're going to lose that gig with that
yes.
person, and that person is, there's always something around the corner. There's a movie being made as you and I speak right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's always something around the corner. And you know, when I was on that set of the big budget set, it was a music video, and I walked away. I know those girls were thinking, I can't leave. It's such and such. He's a huge R&B singer. I have to be here. There's always something around the corner. And when you walk with that energy, that's what you attract. Never think
Yes.
that one person can make or break you. It's a big
Mm.
thing. There's always something around the corner. No one can make or break you but you. So
Hey.
always something around the corner. So just keep it, but don't be nervous. Be like, this isn't for me. I don't feel comfortable here. This doesn't feel good. I'm gonna X this. I wish you guys the best, but I have to go.
I love it. I definitely love it. Thank you so much for coming in with me today. This is your girl Nisha, aka Nisha the Voice.